thinking of something else. Something else came to mind. That pencil right there. Just a basic pencil. I usually keep it right there in my hat. I do a lot of carpentry work. You got to have a pencil. Mark your board. Mark where you're going to cut it. I've got this friend. He attends Bible study. The guy's pretty knowledgeable about the Bible. But sometimes he comes up with, a lot of times he comes up with some really off-the-wall beliefs, some off-the-wall opinions that hit me like a brick. It's like, that Bible doesn't say that. And that's a big reason I read the Bible. I read the Bible all the way through, is to be able to identify false teachers, false prophets, because they will introduce their own opinions, their own theories. A lot of times they're their own parroted opinions. These are opinions and theories held by a religious denomination, and maybe that's where they went to college, and that's that religious denomination's belief that they teach to all of their flock, so to speak. And one lie just gets told over and over and over and over again, and when you read the Bible, the whole thing, and you read it in context, you come to find out, what was that guy smoking when he came up with that idea? That doesn't say that. Well, this buddy of mine will do the same thing. And it kind of reminds me of a little object lesson here. He'll come up with this opinion, this point. Most of the guys miss it because they haven't read the Bible. But I look at him and I'm like, what? And then I spend the next couple of days investigating. Come to find out, that's not what the Bible says, and that's not what several commentators, professional commentators over the last 200 years have said. It's not in there. And he makes this, he just throws it out there, and he'd argue with a brick wall. But anyway, my object lesson point is, when you sharpen a pencil, very, very, very sharp. I know you've done this before. But you go to write with that pencil and you apply just a little bit of pressure to that tip. You try to write with a very sharp point. You apply a little bit of pressure to the side and the lead breaks every single time. It's better to have a well-rounded pencil. I think it's better to use a well-rounded pencil. Be kind of sharp, but don't be so sharp, and don't go into something so sharp that all you got to do is apply a little bit of pressure. What are you doing there, Bubby? Yeah, 8-cylinder kicking in. That's another reason I like this little grocery getter. It's an 8-cylinder. And when I need power, I get it. I just sucked about 2 gallons of gasoline out of my gas tank, but that's power. Be well-rounded. That's what I'd say. And a lot of these, I'm in the trucking industry. Of course, I serve in the front lines. I serve in the trenches. We get a lot of what I call college-educated idiots jumping in, and they'll argue with us a lot. You know, why does it take you half an hour to get from point A to point B? Because it's only half an inch on MapQuest. You're still using MapQuest. But logistically, they're looking at it and they're thinking, they're looking at the computer screen and they're saying, well, why does it take you so long to get there? Well, son, you need to factor in construction zones. You need to factor in accidents. You need to factor in grandma out on the highway. She's riding in the middle lane, or maybe Maybe she's even riding in the far left lane, where people pass, and she just get along just like that. She's not looking at her mirror. She just focused straight ahead, and she put along 50 miles an hour, and you got everybody behind you. I gotta get to work, Granny. Scoot over. So, be well-rounded. That's my advice. Be well-rounded. Be a well-rounded pencil. Does that mean your lead's not going to break? No, it doesn't. Your lead can still break being a well-rounded pencil. But it's not likely. And a well-rounded pencil is still effective. I got to get over here in the middle lane because people are jumping over here on Granny Lane. Granny Lane's the far right lane on a 3-lane road or a 4-lane road. Any right lane on a multi-lane road, the far right lane is what we call the Granny Lane. Didn't know if you knew that or not. It's the Granny Lane. Middle lane, that is the safest lane to be in, to be well-rounded. Yeah, I know you guys caught that, didn't you? Didn't think I caught it. To be well-rounded, you want to be in the middle lane. Then the far left lane, that's the passing lane. Well, trucks, because I'm a truck driver, we can use the far right lane, we can use the middle lane, but we can get a ticket for being in the far left lane because that's usually where the emergency vehicles drive. And if we're stuck over there and we can't get over to the middle lane, then emergency vehicles, they're SOL. Sorry, out of luck. So, Granny Lane. So I usually like to leave maybe 15 minutes early before I have to, 45 minutes early to an hour early before I have to be at work. And that way I can coast in the Granny Lane and I'm not in a rush to get to work and I'm not all hot and bothered and I'm not sucking gas out of my gas tank. So, point of the story is be a well-rounded pencil. Be well-rounded. Don't go into a situation being so sharp that all somebody has to do is come at it from the side with just a little bit of pressure, and there goes your lead. Okay? It's getting to the point where he opens his mouth and I expect him to say something off the wall. Whatever. Anywho, that's that object lesson. Have a great day.